Recently, the bomber was reworked to 2 elixir, and I'm going to show you the differences and how to use it. Let's get started. The bomber is a 2 elixir card with low hit points that does a decent amount of splash damage. This past update, Supercell took off 1 elixir off the bomber. In return, they took off a third of its stats. One way to sync up the new bomber is to think of it like a barbarian barrel. It does similar damage, and it's pretty much a living barbarian barrel. The bomber now gets 1 hit on the tower, but it's not too bad since it does a third less of the damage. Since the bomber lost a third of its stats, it now dies to arrows, but any 2 elixir spell will prevent it from doing any damage to your princess tower. The bomber also cannot one-shot the spirits anymore, so if you wanted a 1 elixir counter, you just place spirits, absorb the hit, and that will stop the bomber on your side of the river. Since the bomber does splash, it can easily take out skeletons, goblins, and barbarians, and stuff like that. It is really useful at taking out swarms, but beware, it does not attack air units, so any air unit will be able to counter it. The new bomber is not able to kill the rascals, dark goblin, and the princess in 1 shot anymore. It now takes 2 shots. One of the biggest interaction changes is it will not be able to kill the rascals anymore, because the rascals will be able to split apart before the bomber can get that second hit on those girls. Bomber will have a harder time taking out mini tanks like the knight because it does less damage. This will be a little bit annoying. It won't be a sort of a tank killer, you just kind of use it for splash now. Since the bomber is a skeleton, it's pretty weak by itself, so you usually want to pair it with a mini tank in order to help it last longer. The bomber will do a ton of damage as long as it is alive. If you pair the bomber with any mini tank, it will be an unstoppable combo. Unless they have arrows or something. Using spells that cost 4 elixir and more is not practical on the bomber anymore because that is a -2 trait, even if you do equip the tower. Fireballing a bomber is the same as fireballing spear goblins. Would you do it? Most likely you would not. The new bomber offers cycle potential because it costs 2 elixir. It is one of the cheaper cards now, and you will be able to cycle your deck faster. On offense, as long as the bomber lives, it will do a ton of damage, so you do not want to leave this guy alone. If he's behind a tank, you want to take care of the bomber first, and can't leave it alone. Even if it's a mini tank. Technically the bomber got nerfed, but in my opinion it's a buff because now it costs less and it's easier to use in your decks. It is less awkward than the 3 elixir bomber because that bomber was unreasonably strong and cost a little bit too much for what you wanted and never really worked in the decks that you wanted it to work in. And that's basically everything about the bomber. It is a 2 elixir card, it's easier to cycle, and it does just about the same amount of damage. If you like this video, consider subscribing. We are almost at 60 subscribers, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.